Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome out. Thanks for watching, listening, all that good stuff. This is it. First episode, Golden Boys podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Jared.
Yeah, I'm Corey. Some of you guys know me. I'm the lead graphic designer over at Golden Press Studio, and the only graphic designer.
Hey, pal, that hurt. No. And I'm Jonathan, the boss man. So, yeah.
So the big thing here is we just wanted to do a little introduction and let you know kind of what our podcast is going to be about. We're going to cover a lot of topics. Lots of things from screen printing to graphic design, photo, video, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about, I'm sure we'll talk about content creation. We do YouTube. We do a lot of social media stuff and probably discuss some of those topics.
Yep. Jonathan likes to talk a lot about business. That's something we'll go over quite a bit is, just business related topics and just see how we can help out. That's our main goal.
Yeah.
Another thing we always talk about is putting people first. Yep. We like to, we run our business with building relationships in mind, and we try to share that strategy with other people and letting people know, like, hey, man, if you just put people first, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that Jonathan actually is going to be sharing about is we're actually in the process of what a big piece of this podcast is starting something, you could call it an initiative.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you want to share a little bit about that?
I just will. So, cool idea with this podcast, very beginning stages of just like, what's the meaning behind it? What's the purpose, cause we don't want to, start something, do something if there's not a crazy cool purpose behind it. And, I came up with the thing called the Golden Boys Initiative. And, I was very intelligent and knew exactly what the word initiative was. So I didn't, I looked it up pulled this out of the dictionary. So I'm going to talk it out and just share it a little bit. So, initiative is the power or opportunity to act or take charge before others do. And that's always been a thing that we've really strive to do with everything, is trying to stay ahead of the game, stay helping people. It's also an act or strategy intended to resolve a difficulty or improve a situation, a fresh approach to something. With this initiative, we're actually going to sell something every quarter, and we really hope that person's okay, because if you picked up in the mics,
Don't know if you heard all those sirens or not, but
Yeah.
We're right next to a main street, and so it's gonna happen.
yep, we deal with it pretty regularly.
Anyways, so the Golden Boys Initiative is, we're going to create something in the studio that we're going to sell, and 100% of the proceeds is actually going to go to a piece of equipment that we're going to purchase with that money and give to a shop to upgrade their shop, to help their business out in some way, shape, or form. Because I remember in the early stages, you're printing orders, you're trying to make money to actually just have extra money, whether it's a side gig or your full-time thing. And you're like, ooh, this is nice, I have money, but if I spend that money on a piece of equipment, it's going to make it faster, and then I'll make more money, but ooh, I don't really want to spend that money on this piece of equipment, quite yet. Or I feel like you wait a lot longer than what you really should. So this way is we're going to try to solve some of those problems for people and just help them out, get them a piece of equipment, like maybe a flash dryer that, will help things, or maybe even a conveyor dryer, So yeah, the goal with everything is really just to encourage, to influence, and to radically change an industry that is already really flippin' sweet. I just didn't think that this industry would just have so many cool people in it, and, man, it just feels like we have hundreds upon hundreds of friends just through all of our social media platforms, people that constantly like our stuff, share our stuff. We have this cool community. And so we want to continue to give back to it and really just do the Golden Boys initiative,
For this first go at this initiative, what is, do we know what we're going to kind of doing?
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly like the PC equipment we're going to do quite yet, but we have a YouTube video we launched a few weeks ago, and it was me printing 2-color posters. And we said in that video that we had some plans up our sleeves, and that's what this is. It's the initiative. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 100% of sales of these posters, and they're sweet, so you're going to want to buy them. And we're going to take 100% of the proceeds, and we're going to buy a piece of equipment, and we're going to gift it to a shop that they don't know it's coming. And we're just going to find someone that, we think is hustling or just doing a good job. We're going to find someone and give it to them. So,
yeah, dude.
Yeah. The cool thing about this initiative is that we're looking to find somebody who's, like Jonathan was saying, is in that hustle phase, and they need like this piece of equipment that's going to take them to like the next place, get them to that next season, kind of give them a little nudge into the future. That's really the goal. We've had that done to us. We've had that help, and it helped us out tremendously and made a big difference in our lives. And then in turn, we were able to do that for some other people, which really sparked all this, which just became something that was something we wanted to do. Right now, we're looking at doing this every quarter. So it's going to be like a quarterly thing where we'll have like some merch or some product or something that we're putting towards that. We'll have a spot on our website that kind of lays all that out, and people can go, and then that's how you can be a part of it, is you can go and purchase one of those things. And like Jonathan was saying, 100% of the proceeds are going to go to upgrading somebody's shop, getting something cool for them. And so if you want to be a part of that, stay tuned to what we've got going on and check out the website and pick up one of those posters.
Yeah. Jared, you should talk about a little bit, kind of just, how it all started with Joey, you'll describe it way better.
The cool thing about, all of us have experienced giving, in our lives where we've been gifted stuff or we've given stuff,
right?
And both feel cool. It's a lot of fun to get gifts, right? But giving gifts is something that's special. You always hear it's better to give than receive, and that's true.
Yep.
You actually get a lot out of it. And I know you're a giving guy. You don't really have an issue with giving stuff away, and just from our personal relationship and the time that I've known you over the years, and the cool thing about whenever we met up with Joey is there's a video on our YouTube. It's called A Rising Tide, and that video kind of lays out how that all happened. But Jonathan found this guy that was he was hustling, man. He was washing out screens in car washes, and he was like trying to like cure shirts in an oven, and like,
no joke,
and doing some crazy stuff, just to make ends meet and get some things done. And he kind of just come down on some hard times and lost a job and was trying to dive into this screen printing world as a way to provide for his family. He had 3 young daughters at home, and he was doing what he could, and it just, and I remember whenever you came into work that day, you'd saw it that night on Facebook in our Rogue Printers group.
Yep.
And you saw it and you came in, you're like, dude, look at this guy. And you like just connected with him. And I think that's what was so cool about it, is it was such a genuine, like, man, I relate to this. Yep. I remember that time of my life, I remember being at that point of like, I'm hustling to get to the next season. I've got to get through this hard time right now. So that way, like, I know what the future is going to look like, but this part's hard. Yeah. And it just connected with that grind mentality for you. And you're like, dude, I just literally just upgraded some equipment.
Yep.
It would be really cool to take some of the stuff and just hook them up.
Yep.
And so we kind of document that whole process of just doing that and going down and hanging out with Joey and checking out his shop was in a tiny little spare room in their house. He barely had room to move around in there. Yeah. and he was making it happen, and then the cool thing for us was seeing months later.
Oh man.
Months later, the guy got, a huge contract and started doing and just exploding. I mean, like his graphic design game is really good.
Yeah.
And he's just started printing a bunch of stuff. And it was just cool to know that, and I'm not saying that he wouldn't have never gotten there without us.
No, absolutely.
But like I said, I think we helped nudge him into the future a little bit and say get there faster.
Yeah. Don't
have to grind as hard for as long.
Yeah. It's something that even that video that Jared put together, I believe that we hit on is just we just don't really believe in competition. We don't believe that, there's other shops out there and we want to beat them and get their clients. Dude, I think that we all think that there's enough people in the world that wear t-shirts, that order t-shirts, that need designs and all that stuff that there's enough work to go around to everyone. And so if we can help elevate someone's life and their financial situation and however, dude, that's so cool. The same with what Jared's talking about, the whole better to give than to receive.
Yeah.
It's it's one thing to just hey, here's a candy bar. Hope you like it. It's another thing to be hey, here's a tool that's gonna hey, it's a blessing to have this tool and you're more efficient. But that tool is going to actually change their family's life. Right?
Yeah.
And that's hugely what this is all about. But it's a part of our DNA, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was the whole concept. And the reason why we called that video A Rising Tide is because of that old saying that says a rising tide raises all boats.
Yeah.
And we wholeheartedly believe that. When you're so busy competing with that shop or this person in any business, whatever business you're in, if you spend your whole time competing with other people, you're missing out on so much more. Yeah. If you look at, I tell people this all the time when we get questioned all the time now of oh, what camera should I buy? Yeah. I'm looking to get a camera. I want to start doing some YouTube stuff. What camera should I get? And my answer genuinely is any camera's good right now, man. They honestly are.
Yep.
Because all the competitors, Canon, Sony, Nikon, Fuji, all these competitors are constantly raising the bar every time.
Yep.
And that there's a healthy competition there with them, but they're constantly and so the people who win in that were the consumers. Right. Now we have amazing choices for products. Same thing are happening with computers and phones and so anything that rises like that. And so if we can see, a fellow, printer or, somebody who's in our circle of people, and we can see somebody struggling or, man, if I could hook them up with this, it would really change their life, then that's just going to elevate everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to make everybody better.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the cool thing about this is that, once you see the opportunity to give, it really opens up that window to look for those opportunities way more than what you typically would. And, again, with the whole Rising Tide video, I came in and showed you guys this stuff. It's oh man, this is sweet. This is sweet. And this was right in our YouTube, kind of getting us established. And Jared's we need to film this. And I'm whoa. I don't want any attention. It's hey, look at us. We're so awesome. We give, it just that I would rather do it all behind the scenes all the time. And you guys know that about me. Yeah. But the cool thing about it is that if we don't document those things, then people aren't going to know that, hey, man, I want to do that. That's a really, now, especially when people are looking at Joey, I just talked to him the other day actually, and he sent me a text and he goes, check this out. And he actually showed me a photo. He was at a local buddy shop who had an auto who had a 4,000 shirt order that he's yep, I just came to donate my time.
Wow.
And I'm dude. And it just created that principle. And so now he's looking for people of man, who can I help out? Cause it's such a small thing just to offer some time or maybe some money or things that you hold on to that you don't even use anymore. That's just collecting dust. And it just starts this ripple effect. And so I was just telling the guys, I don't know if I really want to. And then Jared's like, no, we got to, let's really make a difference in the screen printing community. And then ever since that happened, it was like, boom, opportunities just started opening up for us. And we were like, let's just take advantage. Like, I don't care. Like, I will gladly say I want to be the most giving print shop in the industry. Like, let's give it away. It's like, let's not focus on the day in, day out of just constantly printing, knocking out, or like, let's help each other out and let's really make a difference. Yeah. And through that, I've been able to give away some more equipment, and this is all stuff that we don't highlight and, but,
well, it's like, like all print shops, over time, you get to a place you need to upgrade. Mm-hmm. And we've been in those places, and then we've had times where like we got hooked up, that we had things open up for us where we were like, shoot, dude, this is a game changer for us. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we have, these like presses or exposure units sitting around, and we're like, what are we going to do? Like, are we going to throw these on like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace and
get a buck and waste time?
Yeah. Go through this whole process and like we had another like really cool example like this with our good old friend Chainsaw Betty.
Oh yeah.
Maybe some of you guys have seen the girls over at Press or Die. They're super rad.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you want to tell a little bit of that story?
Yeah. So she actually hit me up in a DM and was just like, I legitimately just got my new like X Factor LED exposure unit and love the thing. I was like just so stoked about it. And then have this other exposure unit just taking up space. And literally she sent a DM and was like, hey, I know this is a really hard area to like give proper information, but like I'm trying to dial in my exposure times and this and that. And like she was using a floodlight. Yeah. And I was like, hey, you can have my exposure unit. Like it was just, there was no thought. It was just like, hey, I don't need it anymore. Come and take it. And, they actually live in Nashville, Tennessee, which is like 4 hours away. And no joke, it was like a few days later, we just set it up and they went and rented a vehicle and drove up and grabbed it. And I was like, this is awesome, and we didn't get any work done that day. We just literally connected with a shop coming up, just starting off, with COVID stuff. It's like, hey, we're doing this full time now, and we're going to try to grow this into an actual business to where we can make a living on it. And yeah, it was just really cool to be able to do that. And then actually just here recently, Chainsaw Betty, she hit me up and said, hey, that exposure unit that you gave us? I was like, yeah, how's it doing? She's like, we actually got a better one. And then we gifted that one to another local shop. And I'm like, this is so good, So.
Well, that's the cool thing about giving, right? I mean, like that's the same thing. And that's the hope that we have that stuff like this will kind of spark that and inspire others to do it. That was the point of making the Rising Tide video. Yeah. I remember we talked about it, and I said to Jonathan, I was like, yo, we should film this. Yeah. Like, obviously that's where my mind goes because that's what I do. And I love telling stories that way. I was like, we should make a cool story out of this, man. Like, this is a cool thing we're doing, and it'd be cool to show others. Yeah. And you were real hesitant. You're like, dude, I don't feel comfortable with that at all. Yeah. And I kind of had to pitch it a little bit of like, well, we're not going to put, the whole point of it wasn't to be like, look at us, right? It was more of like, hey, look at how cool this can be.
Yeah.
And we've had several people, kind of, reach out and say like, man, I was inspired by that and did something similar. Yeah. And that's the goal.
Yep.
We want other people to catch that.
Yeah. Whether you think our hearts were sincere or whatever, it just like legitimately, it's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, hey, we just wanted to do that. And we wanted to highlight to hopefully encourage others to do the same. And like you said, man, we've gotten numerous shops and responses of like, hey, I did this because of you guys. Thanks for doing that.
And to those who would say, I actually expected to have some like negative comments and stuff. And we actually didn't have any on that video. I was actually pretty surprised.
Right.
Mostly it was other screen printers and stuff that were like, dude, this is sick.
Yeah.
That's, you know what? I'm going to find a way to do that too.
Yeah.
And it ended up being the exact, and if we would have let like the fear of like, dude, we don't want to get bashed about that or whatever, because that was pretty early on when we were first starting to upload some stuff, and we didn't want people to think our motives were you know, in a bad place, but can't convince everybody,
right.
you know?
Yeah. But that was it. Like those little, you know, those seeds that we like, yeah, let's just do this. And wow, that's really cool. That worked out this way. Oh, hey, let's do this. Oh, let's do this. It's just like, man, why don't we create a platform to where we can do this all the time?
Right.
And not just us, but all of our listeners and everybody that listened to this podcast. Guess what? You can be a part of it too.
Yeah. You can be a part of helping.
And that, I guess, man, it just keeps on going and going and going to where it's like, you know, hey, we have posters for sale. Your, you know, X amount of dollars to buy that poster is going to help that other shop get a piece of equipment. And then we're going to take you along for the ride to be able to see that and know that, like, you know, it, like, and don't think it's small, because really it's not small. It's huge. It's you're choosing to take money that you've made from your daily job and you've chose to invest it in a product that's going to help another person. And that's huge. But example, you know, that I love is just the whole analogy of like a farmer is like sowing seed. You know, all the farmers, they go out every season and they till the ground, they sow seed to reap a harvest. But every farmer knows that if they don't go out and till the soil and actually sow that seed, they are not going to reap a harvest. And that's not only going to hurt them, but it's also going to hurt everyone around them that's expecting them to do their job.
Their family, the community that they provide food to.
Exactly. Yeah. All the, you know, grocery stores in America, like, think about that. Think if we didn't have farmers, you know, that literally woke up and was like, man, people's livelihoods depend on this. And so that's just what we're doing. We're just sowing seed into other people's shops. And the really the huge benefit for us is just to see them flourish. You know, it's not like, oh, sweet, yeah, we're going to do this to hopefully get something in return. It's just like, it's going to come naturally in so many different ways that we don't even know about.
Yeah. You know, how we kind of just handle business in our shop is sometimes a little unorthodox, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like compared to other things where, like, you know, this, that concept of like, well, we can make an extra $500 in our shop if we sold, you know, an old press of ours or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, to us, what we truly value is relationships.
Yeah.
And like, we really gain a lot more from doing these type of things because we're creating friendships and relationships with people. Like our relationship with Joey is awesome. Yeah. And we know that if we were ever in like a pinch or anything, that we could hit him up and he'd probably drive how
a couple hours.
Yeah, a couple hours just to come and help us out. I mean, obviously, like he's doing this for other shops.
Right.
And it's the same with, like, you know, if we were ever in a place where, like, oh man, like all wholesale sites are out of tie-dye shirts and we have a client that wants a bunch of tie-dye shirts, dude, I guarantee you, we hit up Chainsaw Betty and be like, hey, we need these tie-dyes this way, this kind of thing. And they're going to come through. And so really what we're doing, like, in just openly giving things away is like, we're one of the things that we're gaining is we're just gaining these amazing relationships of people that our business can always count on. Yep. You know, we can always reach out to, and we're creating friendships that are lasting and things that are to us. We just feel that those are some really valuable things that it may not be monetary, but to us, I think it's going to outlast money.
Yeah,
exactly.
Plus it's a lot of fun to see people's reaction too, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I remember whenever the ladies from Press or Die came to pick up that exposure unit, when they got here, Jonathan was just like, hey, I got a couple silver presses over here that are just sitting in this corner. Yeah. And I saw that you're using like a cheaper, like Amazon press. Yeah. Why don't you try one of these out? Yeah. Actually take both of these. Yeah. And they were like, why are you doing this? Like they were genuinely like, but why? You don't know us.
Yeah.
We met you through like Instagram. Why are y'all helping? Like, why?
Yeah.
And we've had several conversations with them. And like, I feel like they're like, okay, we get it. That's just who y'all are. We get it now. Right.
Weirdos.
But no, the genuine reactions, right? Whenever we did the platinum giveaway video and having everybody just be like, are you serious?
Yeah.
For me? Why?
Yeah.
Like, because we saw you using wooden platens.
Yeah.
And those suck.
Yeah. And you guys are like, you all are, you're all starting out. This is a new business adventure. And like, I just remember those days. It's just like, do I want to buy this? And it's, I just want to take that question out of your head. Here's a new platen. Yep. Like, that's it. So funny thing, with Jared, when we loaded up a truck full of screen printing equipment to take to Joey, and please watch that video. It's on our YouTube. But I just remember, like, so Joey, what inspired me to reach out to him was he was literally washing screens out at a car wash. Like it just blows my mind to where I was like, I had like an old like metal like washout booth that I got from buying like kind of like another screen printing setup from a guy that was in a storage unit and all that. And I was like, I never even used it. It was just sitting in my shed. I'm like, dude needs a washout booth. And that inspired us into like literally just getting tons of different things. So I was like, man, this will really hook him up. And we literally loaded up the truck. We were about to drive to Fort Wayne. Well, actually, we were on 65, and I was like, we should probably pull over to Home Depot and buy a power washer because he's going to have a washout booth, but not a power washer, And like, when we got there, like, we opened up the trucks, like, oh, here's a washout booth, this and that. And I was like, oh yeah, and we bought you a power washer because, we just wanted to go big or go home. It's like, we didn't want to just fix one problem and then create another problem. And he's like, dude, you guys are so crazy, but yeah.
And like, new equipment's cool and all, but like new equipment also can literally change everything for you. Like, I think like in the camera world, people get so focused on gear and they're like, well, they got to get next camera, the next one. But I feel like in the screen printing world, like, which, I mean, I guess it's probably the same in camera. I don't know too much about cameras, but
well, I think a good I see where you're going with it though. Like a good comparison is like, nobody really thinks about like, everybody thinks about like the camera, but nobody thinks about the light stand.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks about the tape, the gaff tape. Nobody thinks about the sandbags to keep your light stand from falling over. You know what I mean?
You're
and
welcome.
so it's like, it's all those. Exactly.
Yeah, and like,
took us forever to get sandbags.
and like Joey had a completely solid, sturdy, good press. And like he was cranking on that press and that's great. But there's all these other little elements that were holding his efficiency back. And in our studio, like we love being efficient. Jonathan is a very efficient person.
Kind of obsessed with it, honestly.
And,
thank you.
And like, it's just like the idea of like, oh man, I can't do as many orders because I have to drive down the road to the freaking car wash to wash out these screens instead of, and then like he's away from his family, he's away from all this stuff. Yeah. Like, or you could just go in your basement or wherever and wash it out. And now you have the rest of your day ahead of you that you can do stuff. And it was, that's the power of what, $70 for a power washer or something.
Exactly. Yep.
And Joey's just someone we're so amped on, and all these people that we've met along the way, and we cherish these relationships that we've created.
Yeah. And that is the cool part, right? I mean, it's like we've built some friendships out of this stuff that's been the best thing. Yeah. I mean, how many people do you talk to on a regular basis now we may have messaged them back and forth on Instagram or whatever a couple of times, but like I don't know how many times I come in there to try to talk to you and you're like in there goofing around while you're printing, talking to Trey from Heritage Press, down in Texas. And it's just like, that's a relationship that flourished, it's all this stuff where it's like, we're creating these friendships, by focusing on relationship first, people first.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I came from. That's where Jared came from. Like,
it's true.
Jared and I both had a friendship with Jonathan, when we like before we started working for him, but it was, dude, honestly, like in my life, like it was Jonathan's generosity that made it possible for me to be where I am today.
Yeah. I mean, we can go through that story, of kind of how a network and relationships make a difference. And you look at the the domino effect of all of that happens. Me and Corey both knew Jonathan from years ago, and was trying to do freelance, video work on the side. And it's very hard to do. It's super frustrating to try to find, people that are willing to pay you anything. So I was doing a lot of weddings, which God, that was a nightmare. Weddings are tough. And, anyway, so, I hit up Jonathan because I knew he had a window cleaning business, and was like, hey man, I need something to supplement some income, because I'm trying to do my video business on the side, and it's not really taking off as quick as I had hoped. Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, sure, man, come. I need a window washer. Yeah. And so I went and I did that for a bit, and then I had some cool opportunities that showed up for video, and I was like, dang, I kind of feel like I need to jump on this. I'm sorry to bail on you so quick. I was like, but I think I might have a replacement for you. And he was like, I like to hear that. That's something that I guess you don't get too often in the window business.
Oh yeah. I always tell everybody, a 2 week, what is it?
Notice. 2 week notice.
2 week notice is a middle finger in the window business, just because same thing with screen printing. It's the same thing with a lot of jobs, but it's just how do you train someone who doesn't know how to clean windows
find someone in 2 weeks,
train them in 2 weeks. And at that time I had over 300 commercial jobs a month. Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, here's your schedule. Yeah. Go figure it out, and not like totally set up my employees to fail. Yeah,
exactly. So you have every building memorized.
Yeah, every address. Oh, make sure you don't clean this window, but you clean all these.
That was the hardest part, to be honest.
Man, it was crazy, and my clients were. It was very complicated. So I was like, sweet, you have someone.
Yeah. So I knew Corey at the time was working, because I've known Corey since he was a child. Basically.
Yeah.
Still is.
Right. But yeah, I hit up Corey. He was working in a kitchen at the time. He was flipping some burgers in a golf course.
Yeah.
A golf course diner, or whatever you would call that, restaurant thing. Grill and bar and grill. Anyway, he was flipping burgers. I was like, dude, I knew how much he hated it. I was like, I think I might have a way for you to get out of that, and you could work less days. And he was super stoked on that.
Yeah. And so it's like, yo, dude, you want to wash windows? And I was which also, it was coming out of winter time. And so it was like we're entering into spring. And so I'm like, yeah, sure. Wash windows. Sounds great.
Which I had just gone through the winter time of cleaning windows. And
so
that's
I was
not
like,
fun.
this isn't that bad. But then when it got to winter time, I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever done with my life.
Oh, yeah. My fingers hurt.
Yeah. No, washing windows in the winter is a complete nightmare, dude. It's so.
And then I always like to remind them both that I did it for 10 plus years.
Yeah, no, that's the struggle. I can't complain to my boss because he has done it all. And so then I'm just
quit crying and go back out to work.
It's freaking snowing and the windows are freezing on me. And I'm just like, Jonathan's done way worse. Oh, this sucks. But I was doing that. But the main thing that drew me in was I knew that Jonathan also was running a screen printing shop at the time, or out of his garage. Yep. And I was like, dude, I just want to get closer to screen printing, because that was always a dream of mine, is just to do design in a screen printing shop, maybe print my own shirts, do something like that. And so that was kind of like, all right. And really that was the thing that kept me washing windows through the winter, that I could potentially work in a screen printing shop one day. And I think I was working maybe 4 days a week, and then I had Friday kind of available. And so I literally just I was like, yo, Jonathan, can I just come in the shop and just hang out and I'll just clean stuff or pick up stuff or whatever. Yeah. And he was like, sure, man. And so, I'm in the shop for on Fridays, I go wash windows. And I feel like it was even days I was so amped on it. If I got done early, I'd be like, hey, can I come to the shop?
That's what I remember. I remember Monday through Thursday. I'm like, okay, okay, so Corey's out cleaning windows. I'm cranking out these shirts. And it was like, no joke, it was like 1, 2 o'clock. I was working obviously like, like an 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 or something, trying to crank as many hours as possible. And literally Corey's like, hey, I'm done with the route work. Like after he started, like you got the route dialed in. I'm like, dude, you're getting done a lot sooner. And then no joke, he was at the garage every day. And I was like, whoa, okay.
And like, at the start, he just like, well, he wasn't even paying me for that. It was just like, dude, I just want to be around this stuff. But just this kind of guy that Jonathan is, he pretty much never wants anyone to work for free. And so, like within a few weeks, I feel like of me doing that, he was like, all right, well, I can give you like half day pay towards this or something. And then, I mean, a couple months into it, he was just like, so at this point, back then I was drawing everything on paper. Even when I was in the, like the flipping burgers and stuff, when I wasn't cooking orders, I had my notebook and like pencils and stuff. And I'm like sketching and drawing and like trying to, the same as Jared really, like trying to do freelance design on my own.
Trying to build up that portfolio.
Yeah. And it was hard, dude. And I had a handful of clientele through Instagram and people I knew, but it was challenging. And then Jonathan's like, hey dude, what you're doing seems like the most convoluted way to do what you're doing. It does not seem efficient at all. And he's like, and like, I remember probably around that time I was saying like, yeah, like one day I hope to get like an iPad. I feel like that would really speed up everything for me. And then he's like, well, what if I just buy you an iPad and then you can just make Golden Press a logo? Cause Golden Press didn't even have a logo at the time. Nope. And that'll pay for the iPad. And
well, actually, so that was part of it, but it's funny. I go, hey, I'll buy you an iPad, but you're going to work it off.
Yeah.
Cause I was but at that time he was like, I was like, well, I can sell design work now, and like, hey, oh, this person needs, a design for these shirts. And I would charge them a design fee. And I'm like, sweet, I get that. I get all that money because he's paying off, the iPad. And so like, I was like, I would just like, he did this design project. I'm like, sweet, that was $200 or this and that. I was like, okay, that goes to the $1,000 iPad. And I did that. Like the reason why I did that was because I wanted him to earn that thing that made it like so much faster.
And I don't know, maybe some people are better at doing this than I am, but for me, it's just like, I'm not good at, like, if I want some big ticket item, I'm just like, oh, I'll never have the money for it. Even if because I just
still like that.
Yeah, I'm still like that. And it's challenging for me. But Jonathan, he's just like, well, I'll just buy it. And he literally the day that he brought up the iPad, I showed up the next day and he had it. He went to Best Buy, bought the iPad and the Apple Pencil, and was like, here you go, man. And I was like, but I haven't even started on any, like in my mind, I think I was thinking, oh, well, I'm going to draw in my notebook this logo and work it off. And then once I get that, then he was going to buy it, but he literally got it for me that day and changed everything.
So if you haven't noticed why we have that mural in there behind the press that says pull the trigger.
Pew, pew.
Jonathan doesn't wait around.
No, he doesn't. And yeah. And so, now that like got me to be able to start living out, the stuff that I've always wanted to do because of his generosity, because of his willingness to give, the willingness to like, sure, dude, whatever. Some money doesn't matter.
Yeah. The cool thing is so like fast forwarding a little bit now, Corey's, kind of transitioning to pretty much full-time in the, doing graphic design. They move into this building in the studio that we're in now. You do the renovation, you do all that stuff. And you're full-time at this point, not really washing windows anymore, right?
Yeah. No, it was just a fun little trick Jonathan played on me. Was the day that he told me that I'm full-time in the studio, he was like, all right, dude, I got good news for you, man. You are no longer washing windows. You are full-time in the studio. And I was like, this is everything I've ever wanted. And he's like, but for the next 2 weeks, we have this massive window washing thing. So the next 2 weeks but he was with me while doing it, but it was still like the next 2 weeks was us like washing like
a massive
like
apartment
18,000 windows or something.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. That's great. I was like, hey, congratulations, your window washing's coming to an end. But before that, we're going to top it off with literally my biggest client of the year, every year.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Man, I'm a good guy.
And so you're in the studio now, you do the renovation, you do all that stuff. And then Jonathan, and so I reached out to Jonathan actually because he knows I'm trying to do video stuff.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to him and was like, hey dude, I mean, if you ever want me to do some videos, some stuff, and and I didn't call him. I remember I showed up to the garage unannounced, really.
Yes,
I said, hey, I'm coming over, and I brought my camera, and I started like shooting stuff, and I could tell you were frustrated. You were like, stop.
Yeah.
I don't want videos of my garage, and it was messy,
Dirty,
and he didn't like the way it looked, and I remember he very quickly was just like, nah, man, I don't think I want a video in here. So no, thank you.
But I was in that time. We were in that transition of, I was like, hey, I'm looking for a space and this and that. And I think we had the space at the time, but I was like,
when that gets renovated, that's when I'm going to want you to come do a video.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then he realized that Corey had been hiding his secret talent of photography from him the whole time.
Seriously.
And so Corey started doing all the photos and stuff for the studio. And then so Jonathan was like, oh, you know how to operate a camera? How about you just make a video?
Just hit record.
Yeah,
You
so
got this.
which I protested against and said, I am not good at video stuff. I'm not the guy for it. Now I know a guy that's for it, and he's like, no, dude, just make it. And I'm like, okay,
I think
do my
I
best.
did actually pull the boss card and say, I think you like a paycheck, right? I want you to do this. And then I could see him like, okay.
So I tried to make a video. I really tried.
Well, you made a video.
Yeah.
You did make one. You actually said, so Corey sent it to me. He's calling me. I'm actually working a landscaping job at the time. And I'm like on this big like landscaping job with like bosses and foremans all around and stuff. And I'm like kind of going off to the side to like talk on the phone and like, what's up? And he's like, hey, so I'm making this video and I think it's okay. I just wanted to get your like feedback on it. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then like I watched it, like I'm like hiding again, like watching this thing and like, and I'm like, then I call him back. I was like, yeah, dude. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, how close are you to being done? Like, what else are you gonna do? Oh no, that's the final one. That's it. Like, it's done. And I was like, well, I think it's about 25% done.
Yeah.
No siren if you don't.
There's those sirens again.
Which, you know what? To be fair, I think maybe I'll come clean. It probably was closer to 35 to 40% done, but I was a little frustrated that Jonathan didn't hire me to do the video.
I was frustrated too.
And then I was just like, we already talked about this, man.
Yeah.
And then you went around my back, which just seemed to be the case for me in my video endeavors.
That is still, Jared will reach out to someone and then they just won't even respond back to him. And then like a month later, that person will come up to Jonathan and be like, hey, we're looking for someone that can do video. Do you know anyone that does video? And you're like,
Yep.
Yeah, I know someone. And then like
Jared shows up like, hey, it's me.
And like, they don't even
Remember me?
They're like, no, they don't remember you.
Don't remember you at all. But anyway, so so Corey was like super bummed that I didn't give him like these raving reviews on the video that he made, which it was good. It wasn't bad. It just, it needed a little bit more things.
It had a handful of things that were just not good.
Yeah. And that's fine. I'm not great at photography.
Yeah,
So,
and
we have different skills.
I'd say 50% of the issues with the video is just me not knowing how cameras worked at the time. Yeah. Like I was like, camera video mode. There we go. Like I didn't know. I think my shutter speed, my ISO, my coloring, all that was like really messed up because I just didn't know any better.
Yeah. And so, it was funny that, so Corey was kind of bummed about it. And whenever I told him all that, and then he told Jonathan what I had said, and Jonathan was like, oh, dang. And then Corey came back with, yeah, but he said, hey, let's like have a meeting and maybe I could shoot a video for you and show you what it looks like. And Corey kind of really went to bat for me on that. And so we had a meeting. We went to Starbucks because Jonathan's the only one that drinks coffee. So we decided to go there. And so we met at Starbucks and I just pitched him on the whole, like, I was like, hey, dude, I can.
I said, hey, man, I want you to come out and do a video for me, right? Because I was like, oh, man, this shop's looking good. I want to show it off, this and that. And then you're like, yeah, so I can come in and charge you a lot of money for a video that everyone is going to forget about it in a month. And I'm like,
Right.
cool, sweet. He's like, or you could pay me as a retainer client, like pay me X amount of dollars to come out every month and just do some highlight videos of what you're doing and this and that. And then of course light bulb went off and I was like, or I could hire you to do that so we can create consistent video all the time. And then business Jonathan came and was like, ooh, now we can offer video, photography, design, screen print, and like this whole package to all of my network, all of our existing clients. And then I can like make even more money. Like that was just that thing to where I was like, I mean, I could pay him to do this, but would it be enough? You know, because I'm like, obviously I wanted video enough in this business to be like, because that same day I was like, so how soon can you put your 2 weeks in? And you're like, do I have a job? And I was like, yeah, you put your 2 weeks in and you can start off. And I think I was like, I can offer you this, which was a little bit of a pay decrease, but
yeah, I mean, you know, but it's one of those things where like whenever you're ready to dive into the job that you're, you know, a dream job and something you're passionate about, something you've been wanting to do for a long time, I was willing to take that pay cut, you know, and to come in and because I had a, you know, whatever I believed I had a vision. I saw all of it, like I had vision for what it could be. I was like, I know that we can make this thing be cool. And I mean, we sat there and dreamed for a couple hours and wrote a bunch of stuff down on some scraps of paper and we started very quickly after that.
No, the cool thing, I still just love this story. Like I love our start is that, no joke, our business model that we are doing right now, every day, month to month for the last 2 years is the same business model we created on that piece of paper that day without knowing how each other's work and like operate and how it's all going to like, we're doing that today. And another cool factor that like, I'm not going to share numbers or anything like that, but no joke, when we started offering all these services, like these monthly retainers, like to people, it was 6 months. And in 6 months, like our business tripled.
Yeah.
like tripled to where I was like, whoa, I am not used to these numbers. It was just crazy. But again, as you know, we found out very quickly that, you know, you can make a lot of money in all the services you do, but are you going to love what you do? And that's when we did it for, I think 6 months. Yeah, we had 6 month contracts and then some of the contracts kind of fell off, which we were okay with. Yeah. And then it was like, oh man, even some more contracts kind of fell off. And then we were just like, you know what? It's okay because we really didn't like that. Now we know what we can do for us because all that stuff we were doing for them, like, wow, we could like double it and do more stuff for us, you know, to promote us and get us out there. And so we hit this number. I was like, whoa, this is great. And then no joke, what people don't know is we said bye-bye to money so that we can come back and do the stuff that we love to do.
Yeah. Well, we had a bunch of those monthly, you know, clients and stuff that we found after time. Yeah, it just wasn't a great fit. Yeah. Business wise. Not that there was anything wrong with them or with us or anything. There's no bad blood. But it was just one of those things where I was like, yeah, we're kind of done here, right? Yeah. We both agree. Yeah, cool. Yeah. And it just worked out that way. And then, yeah, I mean, like, we still do some monthly stuff for some people, but it's very specific on and it's who we choose. And yeah, I remember those conversations being a little tough to be like, this is the amount of money that we're leaving on the table to go back to doing our thing, YouTube. What we want to do, kind of putting a lot of our eggs, maybe not all, but most in this one basket. But
yeah, and just talk about how like we were like, all right, so now we have this time that was allocated to this client, but now it's free. So what are we going to do? And that's when we started getting extremely serious with YouTube. We were just like, and for me as a business owner, like Jared and Corey both was like kind of educating me on YouTube of like, hey, you know, if you do this, and you guys were just engulfed in YouTube. And I was engulfed in, hey, I'm going to learn how to screen print. Like I didn't really care about the other stuff. And then it was no joke. It was like after we hit 1,000 subs and then we were like, we got monetized and then we had some videos that really jumped and then Jared's like showing me analytics. I'm like, whoa, okay. Like, wow, we're reaching people and we're really helping people.
Yeah.
Maybe we should, put a lot more time.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I mean, since we're on the topic, I mean, that's kind of been the goal of the YouTube channel was you know, share our knowledge, share our process of stuff. It's, you know, whenever you talk about, you know, we do a lot of design videos, and whenever we talk about, you know, programs like Procreate, Photoshop, Illustrator, we're talking about some heavy, massive programs, you know, that they have 1,000 and million different ways to do the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so many different ways to do the same thing. And so, I mean, there's been so many videos where that we'll make something and then we'll get a comment of somebody being like, yo, dude, why don't you just do that instead of like, just do this. Like, I don't know why you did it that way. And then Corey will be like, dude, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. We're like, I'm so about just like, hey, teach me something, man. Show me the right way to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, because I feel again, it's what we're about. We're about relationships. We're not about getting offended and being mad at people. We just want to have a friendship. We want to learn from other people. We want to be able to try to help other people learn. And like Jared's saying, like, dude, you can do the exact same thing in Illustrator like 50 different ways.
Yeah.
And like our goal with YouTube is just like, hey man, this is the best way we've found to do it. And sometimes it's even like, this is the best way it works in our particular shop.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, you know, like other people, like, hey, they do something completely different and it works really, really well for their shop. Yeah. But for the processes that we've set up in our studio, sometimes those things don't work as well.
Right.
But we're always down to learn and receive, you know, from others.
Yeah. I mean, and the biggest thing about, we always try to hit these main things with YouTube is are we giving, you know, value? Are we providing, you know, some kind of value, whether that's education? We want to be able to share, and it's hard whenever you're like, when you say like, I'm going to do a tutorial, usually that's like, this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
But whenever we're talking about this kind of stuff, when we're talking about art, like it's very subjective, and like there's our way to do it, and we're going to share that with you. So we like to provide that educational content. And then there's also the entertainment factor, where it's like, we hope we're entertaining you, you know, where it's like, we want to provide, you know, some educational stuff. We want to make it fun. We want our information to be accurate, and we don't want to, you know, be lying to you or anything like that.
Yeah.
We try not to do any wrong information, you know, on our YouTube channel. So we try to research stuff, and we talk to, you know, if we're talking about emulsion, then we're trying to talk to the people who made the emulsion. You know, we want to understand what we're talking about before we share it with others, and so we try to do those things. And as far as the like entertainment value, I always tell people is like, listen, I hope you're enjoying the videos, and if you're not, I really don't know why you're here.
Yeah.
You know, and I stand by that statement. I mean, just like, you know, if you don't enjoy it, you know, I'm sorry. We tried.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, man. All of this it's been a process, really.
For sure.
Yeah, it's been a process, like, you know, from the day that Jared got brought on and all this stuff, and where everything changed for us. It's been a process. It didn't happen overnight, for sure.
No.
And you know, Jared did get hired overnight, but like Jonathan and all of us have been talking about, like, you know, it was like this 6-month process. We're like, whoa, some of this works, some of it doesn't work, and I mean, literally, even up to today, we're still finessing things. We're still figuring things out. I think we're a lot further along than we were, a couple years ago. But it's a really cool thing. And we want to also just encourage, you know, the people that are listening to this podcast that, dude, we do not have it all figured out.
No.
Like, hopefully some of these stories have conveyed that a little bit, that like sometimes we're just like flying by the seat of our pants.
Can I give an example to that?
Sure.
So, I'll share a quick little example of how we don't have everything together. This is our first episode of our podcast, but it is the second time we're recording it.
Hey, Corey, we didn't even have to throw in a joke or totally bash him. He bashed himself.
So 100% no one's fault but mine. We recorded the whole thing, almost 2 hours long, but I didn't plug in the audio cable, so it had zero sound to it.
The video looked really good.
Oh, it was
phenomenal.
And the conversation flowed so well.
Yeah.
And so if this one sucks, and you're like, man, it seemed weird, it's because we did it twice.
There's a better one in the deleted file.
That's gone.
Yeah, man.
But that's just
we enjoyed it.
It was fun.
We've been talking to each other all day.
I told my wife about it during lunch, and I was just like so frustrated. And I told my wife, and she said, "Oh, I mean, I've heard of people doing like dress rehearsals, but that's a little extreme." I was like, oh, "Okay, I'll talk to you later. Have a good day."
No, yeah, just we really, again, we've been just so many different opportunities have popped up in front of us, and we literally have just like, you know what, we're just gonna figure this out. We're gonna we know we're capable of giving a finished product or something that is going to be pretty dang decent. But unless we take that step, we're not gonna, it's gonna take that to figure it out.
Yeah.
But another reason with this podcast to fill you all in is our next big step.
Yeah, we have some updates for you guys. Jared, he put together a video the other day. If you haven't seen it, I'll probably put a link in the description or whatnot.
Yeah, feel free to check it out. We enjoyed making videos, so if you enjoy watching videos, sounds like we're a good combination for each other.
Yeah. But it was kind of like a vlog episode, but we touched base on some of the new updates that we're doing in our shop right now. But yeah, we can give a little more detail on that.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, I think it's fun to mention that when Josh was here, his wife was also pregnant. In fact, I believe they're in the hospital right now.
Actually, I just got a text from Josh
having a baby at this moment. So shout out to Josh and his family.
Baby boy was born at 2:41 p.m.
I rest my case.
Yeah.
So
That's Joshy boy.
So they were
miss you, pal.
So they were pregnant. Jonathan and his wife were pregnant. Corey and his wife found out they got pregnant. And me and my wife have been doing some fertility stuff for the last 6 years. There's a really long story. There's going to be a video about that later. Not on Golden Press, but anyway. But yeah, at one point, all four of our wives were pregnant at the same time.
Something in the water.
As Lee said, all of us over here are sperminators.
Sperminators.
Which I thought was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Great word. I love that. So yeah, that's cool. So we all got kiddos, either just arrived or on the way.
Yeah.
So that's a big change happening. That's a lot of fun.
That is a massive change. It's like, hey, just in case you guys didn't know, it's a lot of pressure being a boss, and making sure payroll's made. And then all your I can handle my own. Then all your employees start popping out numerous babies. And then you're just like, shoot, okay. Now I'm really feeling stressed. All right, guys, this has got to work.
We really got to make this happen.
Got to make this happen.
Yeah.
No, but just that is massive news. I love it. I love that our families are growing, and it makes it super cool that, and the guys have told me this, and I pray that I continue to reveal this, that here at Golden Press Studio, we are not like any other job. These guys are going to have some babies here soon, and their babies is going to be priority for them and for me. It's they're going to get some proper time away, and and business is still going to flourish, and business is still going to go on, and we're going to figure that out, because we, no joke, have just 2022 is going to be flipping crazy.
It's going to be wild.
Just to tell you here, let's break down the timeline. Ready for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's November 17th. Still haven't totally dialed in the lease. I haven't signed a lease contract. We're solid though. We got good handshake and
Handshake deal.
it's being drawn up right now. We're good on numbers and all that. So, but that's getting drawn up. Gonna sign that. We need to renovate 1,700 square feet.
Mm-hmm. Which, if you saw the last video,
Yeah, if you
son, it's rough.
It is gnarly.
let's just say if you drop a T-shirt on that floor, it goes in the scrap pile.
It goes in the incinerator. You can't even use it as a test shirt.
Exactly.
It's gonna soil your press.
Yeah, it's a little rough right now.
It's rough, but we really do. We see the potential on it. But so reno, but first we got to do demo because we got to tear out like just a lot of that stuff that is going to open up our whole landscape a little bit so we can really dial in. But the whole reason why we're moving is because we got an automatic press on the way. But so here's our timeline. November, you got Thanksgiving coming up. You got in December, you got Christmas. And then no joke, probably January 1st, my press is going to get sent out. So we have like about 2 months, if that, with holidays included, to do all that and get it done. And then then you got January, right? Guess who's having a baby in February?
I am. Well, my wife is.
And then guess who's having a few babies in like March and April.
Quit saying a few. It's just two. It's just twins.
It's just twins,
only
guys.
twins.
And
that's going to be either late March, early April. So
it's just So, but I also need to clear up some stuff from our video that you better go check out. It's we're moving shop. I need to clarify that because there's quite a possibility that we're going to have 2 locations. But if that other space gets, renoed out and we can find a home there, we might not need this space. But we also say, oh man, we're so busy. Like we're just slammed. And I need to clarify, we are busy. And our demand to print shirts and get shirts out the door has increased.
And it's continued increasing.
It's continuing.
Yeah.
Am I printing thousands of shirts all day, every day? Absolutely not. But the DNA of our business is that we're doing what I mean by we have so much going on is that we have design work. We have photos of shirts that I'm printing. We have e-commerce photos. We have video projects based around me printing the shirts, and all of that stuff is all happening at the same time. And so what this auto press is going to do for us is it's going to create that time that we can, one, knock out our orders that come in faster and create just more time to be able to do all the things we love. And that's what this move is hopefully going to do for us. I really believe it is. So we can continue to do cool stuff like this podcast and, just continue to enjoy what we're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah. We were talking a little bit earlier about like YouTube, like that's a huge thing for us. We all really love and enjoy, creating good, useful content for people. But the reality is, dude, like on a good day where we're not filming, like we're maybe cranking out. If we had a 200 shirt order, we'd probably get it done in a day.
Yep.
A good day, things are going well. All the pieces fell into place. But it's like on a filming day, dude, there's 20 shirts, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
The problem. There's the issue that it slows the printing down, obviously, because we have to, stop and either hope, well, I missed that, or we got to say that differently, or because it's all curated, right? It's edited. We want to produce something that's high quality, educational, it's all right and all that stuff. And so scheduling is the hardest part though.
Yeah.
For me at least, it's you trying to figure out when we can line up the, like, if we plan a shoot, then it's like a good example is like our tiger shirt, you know, the one with the big tiger on it. We actually did a video about that when we got a new big flash dryer, and we were talking about doing oversized printing, right? But we didn't have any oversized print jobs at the time, so Corey had to design something specifically for the video, and then it had to get mixed into the middle of a print job. Like, so then it's a print job that's like not really a job that we have on the books. No. There's no client that needs it.
We got to order the
shop shirts.
Yeah,
it's just, and so it's like I have to fit that in the middle of like other paying jobs to where we can create some shop shirts to sell those to be able to do the video though. But I also remember is in the middle of even that, I was like, hey Corey, I need you to do this design so that we can do this video, so that, you know, and all this. And you were actually designing the screen printer starter pack. I think it was like, I don't know. Do you remember that?
Yeah. So, Ryan at or screenprinting.com, we're friends with those guys. And we'd been talking about like, hey, it'd be really cool to make a cool vector pack for screen printers. Maybe you guys have looked on the internet for a screen printing vector pack, and you're like, well, there's one, and that's it. That's it. Like maybe on like Shutterstock or something. I don't know.
Right.
There's like one, and I was like, dude, there needs to be more. People need variety. People need something cool, and so I was like, dude, I'm gonna make this one. And so I'm like cranking on this, and it's a pretty substantial pack. It's got a lot of elements in it, and then we're like, oh, we need a video and we need a design. And I'm like halfway working on this pack. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to like grab like an element from this pack. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to make, you know, a shirt design out of it. But yeah, like what we're talking about, like, dude, there's so many moving parts and like a lot of times, like, cool, I have client work. I have, you know, personal shop work, and then it's like, oh, and then video work, and like all these different little elements, and like, oh, hey, don't design that yet because we need to film you designing it. And so it's like, all right,
the client's waiting on it.
Yeah. And yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's what it was. We were like, okay, we need to do this video. Oh man, that would be cool to do another video of you actually designing it.
Yeah.
And then you design it, and then we film the video, but we also can't really release that video because the vector pack wasn't launched yet.
Yeah,
and then we need to make a promo video for the vector pack to be released. And if you don't make, you know, if you're not doing like content creation and stuff like that, then maybe this gives you a little bit of an insight to like all the steps, and like lining up and scheduling is always the hardest part. It's always a lot of fun.
So that's what I mean by when we say on any post on Instagram or whatever, when we have a lot going on, that's what we're talking about. There's just so many moving parts. And so with this transition of an auto, hopefully that auto is going to allow us to get clients, you know, orders out the door faster. But also be able to create some really cool stuff for us too. Like be able to sell some cool shop shirts. We're sitting on how many different designs for shop shirts, like it just always gets pushed to the back burner because that's what we mean when we're so busy and doing stuff for you. It always falls on the back end, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, well, because we're still always trying to like do our stuff, but like we still have client work that we're going and doing.
They get the priority.
Right. And so, because they're paid clients.
Yeah.
And so like, I mean, the last video that we did on YouTube kind of showed a lot of the stuff that me and Corey were doing. And we were all over the place for a while there. We were, you know, bouncing around. Corey had a big photo shoot within our city where like the actual chamber hired him to go out and shoot a bunch of photos for our city. Yeah. Like over 100 photos or something. This was like a massive project.
Yeah. So I'm out of the studio for days.
Yeah. And then we have some photo and video shoots and stuff to like go to, you know, different states, and where now we have travel involved, and you know, there's just so many things like that where we're like just trying to line everything up. It gets a little chaotic.
And the reality is like getting an automatic press what that's going to do. One, like, I think I mean, it's probably going to put some type of financial burden on us, but in the same way, it's going to take some of the financial stress off of stuff because we're able to crank on orders way quicker.
Yeah. And then I've said a lot to the guys here recently is that the goal is, one, I have a ton to learn about auto and just, I have a lot to learn. And so that's throwing that on top of everything also.
Yeah.
Is that it's like, I know it's just not like a flip of a switch. So learning that, but after we get it dialed, the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is, just quality of life, like I've been cranking on this job in this business for, over 5 years now. And I've taken very little vacations and had very little time off. I had, a few weeks off with my last few babies but that's it. Got to get back to work because, like people,
because shirts aren't going to print themselves.
Yeah. People are relying on us to, get shirts done. So, and so we're really hoping that this transition is really going to do that, just to where get to spend some more time with our families. Cause obviously you guys probably picked up on that, we have growing families and, we just want to spend more time because they're only little for so long. And, so we're trying to just, I this is one thing I love it when I like listen to other podcasts and see other print shops, they're like, I've seen some that are like, I don't know about that. It's like, oh, let's just automate and like get rid of people's jobs. It's like, I'm not too stoked about that. What I'm stoked about is to automate, to create positions for people, to invest in people, because like there's two things. You can invest in automation. It's like, I absolutely like totally down with that. That's what I'm doing now. But unless you invest in people, that's the real payoff. It's like you invest in a machine and that machine could catch fire. Yeah. You invest in a person and you can totally change their life. And so
people have never caught on fire.
I was gonna say, to be fair, people can catch fire too, but
wow, that was, woo.
Listen, one of my favorite Mitch Hedberg jokes is he was sitting at a bar one time and a guy came up to him and said, "Excuse me, sir, you're gonna have to move. You were blocking a fire exit." And he said, "As if I would not run if there was a fire. If you have two legs and are flammable, you are never blocking a fire exit." Shout out Mitch Hedberg.
Oh, that's so good.
He was great. R.I.P. buddy. But yeah. So another element real quick before we move on, I think we're going to do some we had some Instagram questions and stuff. Yeah. But one last thing on the move, space. Yeah. Space is a big issue. We are cramped. The room that we're in now, which is our front space, our
multi-purpose room.
It's a super multi-purpose room. We store stuff. It's where we do all of our shipping. All of that. We have merchandise from a couple clothing lines that we have, and our shop stuff, and it's where we receive all of our orders. It's where my desk is because I need to be away from all the noise of screen printing, power washers, and metal music blaring through the speakers, so you guys don't go crazy in there. But I'm trying to edit videos, so I need some sort of silence to be able to hear what I'm doing. So I moved completely out here. All our film equipment stored out here. It's where we shoot all of our photos and videos, and whenever we do our YouTube stuff, it's in this room with our backdrop set up, and we're running out of room. And then if you've seen a video lately of the actual print studio, it's pretty tight in there too.
Oh yeah.
Got a lot of stacks of shirts.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's definitely time, for that much needed space. That's, again, we talk about efficiency, and that is like prime of what I constantly think about, but it's like, we just set up this podcast. It's right here in this front room. Guess what? We got to tear it down, but in that future space, we could literally mount lights to the ceiling and like have our mics stationed and just have a podcast room. Yeah. And and so that it's just going to bring a lot of efficiency to where, again, I don't have to, I'm going to go wash out some screens. don't want to mess with Jared's edit right now. You know, like that's all stuff that we've had to think about up until this point to where it's just time. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's probably a good part to start. You know, we asked some questions on Instagram, or we asked you to ask some questions,
and we have some of our own questions that we want.
That's right.
I forgot about you guys as well.
Yeah, but we answered some of them. But I definitely wanted to throw these out there. We already answered, why are you guys doing a podcast? We nailed that one on the head.
Because we want to.
Answered.
But Jared answered this one. How frequently are we going to be posting podcasts?
So we talked about doing one every month, at least for right now.
Yep.
You know, I think that that's a pretty standard, decent, good, achievable goal for right now for us.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see how this fits into our workflow.
Yep.
Maybe if we could record one episode one time and not have to record it multiple times, we could get it done faster and not have to spend.
We technically could have done 2 episodes today.
We could have crushed it.
You're telling me, buddy. So yeah, we'll see if this fits in better into the workflow and stuff. And if we can, you know, then who knows? Maybe we'll crank them out a couple a month, or you know. Jonathan will probably want to do one every day, to be honest. But
I'm stoked on it. This is my second time around today. I'm
really feeling it. Here we go.
Now we're getting into the jokes. Okay, so we're gonna start off once a month. We'll
start off a little easy. Let's ease our way in.
Don't worry, we're gonna have plenty of stuff to talk about in the upcoming months.
Sure.
So next question: will you guys have guest spots on the podcast? And I will answer that. Absolutely. We've been thinking about this for quite a while, and we also want to let everyone know that we do want guests on, but we're not just going to pull in just screen printing shops or even designers or even videographers. Like we want this podcast to be just, again, my network of people, Corey, Jared's network of people that we know that own businesses that could totally look completely different than ours, and just really bounce ideas off of them to, you know, because we all know this, that you know, I have a buddy who has a construction business, and we'll have him on, and he's going to be able to talk to you listeners about things that will just speak to you that I couldn't say to you because I'm in the screen printing mindset, you know, but because he is in a different arena, he'll be able to really speak to you. So we really want to, we're not saying this is a screen printing podcast or a design podcast. This is a podcast of talking about life, connecting people, business, all of the above. So yeah, we're going to have some sweet guests on. Let's see. So I guess I'm going to answer this one too. Are you guys trying to be like Shirt Show? Absolutely not. We cannot be that sexy, and we cannot be that cool. I'm just telling you, Dylan, whew.
Arf.
Arf. Andy, man, I love the way you look. No, those guys, seriously, huge shout out to those guys. I am a huge fan of Shirt Show. Listen to the podcast quite a bit when I'm printing late at night. They're just doing a killer job of really connecting the screen printing community, shops, artists, all of the above, and really bringing things to light to help other screen printers. So I wish we could be that cool, but we're not.
And they're how many episodes in now?
80? I don't know, a lot.
Yeah, there are a lot of episodes in. So for us to come in and try to do something like that, we're not going to try to copy.
It's oversaturated by now. 80 episodes.
There's so many screen printing podcasts now. No, we're gonna talk about some screen printing.
Yeah,
but not solely.
Not as
because we don't do just screen printing anymore. So
I feel like already you guys are getting a little flavor. If you're still watching by now, you're getting a sense that this is slightly different than Shirt Show.
We're an hour 19 in.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're still with us, man,
congratulations.
You're the MVP.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Yeah, that's actually the question all the questions I have.
You got some IG questions?
We have some IG questions. Yeah, first one from our good friend Dana Nash.
Oh yeah.
She asked us, "Do you plan on hiring people at the new studio?"
Yeah, I can take this one.
Corey,
yeah, I plan on bringing in a lot of different designers.
I'm gonna switch the camera back to Jonathan. Go ahead.
So
Maybe
Corey
not.
can,
We'll see.
Corey can absolutely take that one as long as he's paying those people out of his salary. Like that's it. That's fine. No, we absolutely are going to be hiring people. The thing that I have learned over the years that the guys have helped me, they've helped me transition to this and just realize that I'm a one man, like I am just a man. I can only do so much. And if I try to do everything, nothing gets done or nothing productive gets done. And so within the last few years, I've really learned delegation tremendously. And the guys have really helped me out up to where it's like, I'm in there printing and it's like, oh, there's shirts falling in a box. And I'm like, well, Jared's letting footage render right now. And really like, it's just kind of a holding pattern of he can't really do anything. And like, I know that now to where I'm like, hey, Jared, can you come fold some shirts? Like that would really help me to be able to like, I'm printing all the fronts. I need to print backs. And like that delegation and actually asking for it is huge. And it helps. It just makes things run so much smoothly. So is that a word, smoothly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's weird how I said it.
You did say it weird, but
it's fine. Corey says plenty of weird things.
that's true. That's true.
No, but yeah, I realize with going auto and all of the potential jobs that are going to be created out of that move is I'm going to learn how to run an auto, really dial in some steps before we hire people and utilize my guys to just kind of help things get going. And then at that right time, we'll know. We've learned that here recently, like with Josh, him leaving, but before he left, like him coming on, it was like, man, we really need someone. Like I need to grow the business. I need to do sales, but I can't because I'm printing all day, every day. And just our business, the amount of orders coming in after I hired Josh was just got more and more and more. And so we realized that's going to happen again. And when that does, we're just going to have to, hire and delegate, and grow.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
I think, even what Jonathan's talking about is an important thing. I think it's sometimes good to like not be the guy that is doing everything. I think it's good to dial in to where your strengths are. And like for Jonathan, he greatly succeeds in it. Like, he's a great printer and all that stuff, but he's great with people. He's so good with that. And that's when a lot of our businesses come through him talking with people.
Sales.
And so if Jonathan's out doing 100 other things, then one, he's not like living up to his fullest potential or like living in his fullest potential, but he's getting, I feel like it's not even as satisfying.
No, it's like just total transparency right now of how I typically feel is sweet. Like since Josh left, it's like, I'm a screen printer. I have to it's what I know. It's what I do. I have to print these jobs. Sweet. I got X amount of jobs printed, but we've already been paid for those jobs. So, we got to have more money coming in. So now I have to take that hat off and then put the sales hat on and email people back and call people and do quotes and like get more business coming in. Right. Then I got to catch up back on the other, it's like, it's a lot of that back and forth. And, with an auto, it's, hey, let's knock out X amount of shirts today. Sweet. Tomorrow is sales. And now I can really connect with people and offer all the awesome things we love to do and enjoy doing for our clients. And so that's so good, Corey. I believe that's it's going to give a nice little breath of fresh air into the business too, when we make that transition.
Yeah. Well, not to mention we're not going to say too much about it, but probably going to be adding a couple new departments.
Yeah.
Ventures. There's going to be some new things we're adding on to Golden Press in the future.
Absolutely.
Won't really go into too much more.
No, but that, to just touch on that, is that we needed a bigger building for these other departments to come into play, and that next space is going to accommodate. And again, you know, that's the entrepreneur struggle of just like, man, we're doing so many cool things here and here and here, but what about this? And what about this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just more time added on all this. And if we have something that's going to open up and create a little more time, one, obviously for our families, but two, for just, you know, growing different businesses and different avenues and being able to offer all these cool things that we do. And just smart business is having a lot more revenue streams than just screen printing.
Yep,
you know,
diversify.
Just a quick little testimony about that is like during COVID, we didn't struggle. Like a lot of print shops did, like, and we printed shirts. We still print shirts. We're doing content creation and photos and design. And we just had so many different things that, like, oh, wow, we just printed a ton of shirts this month. Oh, the shirts are going down. Oh, video went up. Oh, you know, like it was just that nonstop. Like we had revenue streams coming from each angle. And so
other departments could pick up the slack whenever
so
one of the other ones were down.
Yeah. And so that's what we're going to do with the new space and some new avenues. So excited about sharing those to you guys in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks, Dana. Good question.
Yeah. All right. Life of a female screen printer. Alexa, I'm going to ask you guys this and then I'll answer it. But what's your favorite part of your current shop?
Yeah. This current shop, I got a couple favorite things. One of my top tier favorite things in this shop is our paper roll backdrops. I use it almost every day in the studio. Really I am constantly like pulling it down, setting it up, pulling lights to it. It's just a really cool feature. I'm grateful that this studio has such tall ceilings that we can have like these really kind of cool shots, and you can do product photography, you can do model shots, you can do so many different things. We use it for YouTube videos, and so I love that. That's like photography stuff, but I love that. I think it's super cool and really versatile. It's one of my favorite things. And then I'd say another one of my favorite elements of this shop that we're currently in, which is also something I'm a little nervous about in the next space, but I just love the murals. I did them, so I should love them.
Yeah, you should.
But I love, like, I feel like I'm really happy with all of them. And I'm like, dude, they're all super cool. And I love like walking up the stairs and seeing the big dagger on the stairs and thinking like, dude, that's so sick. And seeing all those things. And that's like, I'm kind of nervous in the new space of like, I think the new space, like it may have a bit more exposed brick going on. Yeah. So like I'm thinking about, we're talking about maybe doing some type of something. Maybe some type of mural on the brick. That might be a little challenging, but
we're gonna have some walls up too, for sure. So we'll have plenty of canvas.
But it's like this bummer of like,
it is.
It's like literally just like burning down your art. Like I like put my hand to the paint to the wall, and
but
and
also
then it's just gone, dude.
But also touching on that I want to clarify too is just, we might not be totally moving out of this. So it still could change. But again, who knows? We're in this other space and it's like working well and all that. We might not need this space, or we might leave those dang murals up, because I remember like we were so jacked on those. It's like, oh, sweet. Especially the pull the trigger mural. Like it was behind me. And so we were like, oh man, for every photo we take, it's going to have this cool mural in the background. And like, we're nerds. We plan this stuff out.
It feels like they feel like tattoos, like on your skin. Like I felt it was like the same thing of like, oh, there's this empty hole over there. Do we need a mural? Like, we need something. And so it's like you're like washing off your tattoos if we leave this space and like get rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
It'll hurt my heart a little bit. I know I can always create more cool art, but I just like that art. That's all.
Yeah, they're good. Favorite part, I think that's tough for me of like, because my big thing is I've wanted to do this for so long. I started making video. Well, I mean, like I was playing with my dad's video camera when I was a teenager, and using VCRs to like make little edits and stuff and trying to like, make up stories with my friends with our paintball guns out in the woods. And we were doing all that kind of crazy stuff. But like in like 2005, I started, like I learned what like video editing software was and was like, I got hooked.
Yeah.
Like hooked. I was like, this is awesome. Because like you could manipulate the footage to create a story.
Yeah.
I was like, I can make a story out of any footage I want. Like I could tell what I wanted. And so like I've wanted to do this for so long. And like I said, not shoot weddings or somebody else's things, but like my stuff, something I believe in, something I'm committed to. And so like that's honestly like my favorite part is like, I'm super passionate about telling stories through a lens and being able to convey those kind of things. And so, I think those kind of things matter. I think being able to like document stuff and like tell a story is important.
Yeah.
I think it's something really cool to be able to look back on later and show like where you were and where you've ended up and that the progress in between. I think having that, just documented for people to see, and even if it's not for anybody else, even if it's just for you, I think it's super important. And at least to me, it's very important to me. And so I just love that, like, this is what I do now. Yeah. I get to come in and I get to play with cameras.
Yeah.
And that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
Cause there was a part of my life where I was like, I don't know if that's going to happen. It's something I really wanted to do. And I tried several times to make it happen, and it just didn't seem like it was connecting,
Yeah.
And so to me, that's huge.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that like you almost wish that you were with us back in the garage.
I do.
To where like, Corey and I, like we know the photos and stuff like that that like I posted on Instagram back there, and like Corey modeling a shirt like in my dining room, and me take like just all that stuff. And now look at where we're at now. We're like, holy smokes, like that's just so nuts. But it's like, we get to reminisce on that, and then to see how far we've come from that, we're like, heck yeah, this is sweet. Like, but now with this other space, you're going to get to reminisce on like this, like coming into this space, and transforming this space, this being the first time we started doing YouTube videos and all this. And now it's like, it's going to transfer over to that. And then
being able to document that whole, the whole process.
Yeah.
And being able to show it to other people and let people be a part of that and be inspired by that.
Yeah.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah. A post from Corey and I literally working our butts off for 3 months renovating this space by ourselves. Like I took a few videos on my phone, but like nothing crazy. And now we're going to be able to show and like kind of tell the story about it all and why we're doing things. So
yeah.
That's sweet. For me, what's my favorite part about this shop? I'm totally going to screen print or nerd out and say my favorite part of this shop is the dark room. That's it. The main reason for that was just just all the heartache and the turmoil and the frustration I dealt with our last winter over at my house in my garage, with the hose freezing, like power washers have water in the lines, those freezing, breaking those. My wife gave me that look finally when I had a hose ran from our bathroom sink throughout our house to the power washer to wash out screens, to be able to coat screens in the winter in the garage that wasn't heated and not it was insulated, but not very well. And I remember like having a salamander like from this side of the garage, like blowing hot air to a fan that eventually melted to blowing warm air onto freshly coated screens when my garage wasn't the cleanest thing with dust and all that stuff and pinholes. And I remember every day of that. So when I got into this space, I was like, there's water hookup. I know a washout boost going there.
I remember, I remember how many little tiny pieces of tape were consistently on screens to cover the pinholes.
Pinholes? Oh my gosh.
Like, and it's just something like, I've just forgot that like, we hardly ever do that now.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, we just put the tape on the edges and you're done taping up your screen. Like taping up screens back then meant like, all right, aggressively inspect, and you were just going to cut,
little triangles,
Dude, all over the whole screen because there was holes all over it.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh shoot, there's a little bit of ink on the bottom of the screen. Ooh, I got to wipe that up. You couldn't do it because you could. Then you'd have to cut all these tiny little pieces of tape to it was a nightmare. It was like basically we didn't use emulsion. Maybe the design was like blown out and there was emulsion just around the edges of it, but the rest of it was just tape. Because of all the pinholes.
It felt like that, dude.
Yeah. So no joke, the dark room is my favorite spot. Because I've been able to take that area that was such a heartache and I got so frustrated all the time. And I can wash out a screen. I can dry a screen. I can coat a screen and burn a screen all within an hour's-ish time in this space and be pinhole free and it's awesome. That's my favorite part. I'm a nerd, so take that. And let's see. Final question. Good old Andy Anderson.
Dude, we love Andy.
You're the man, dude. You support us so much and we are super appreciative.
Yeah,
let me read this off and this will kind of be wrapping up things. Let's see. I know that the age-old additive is that any progress is positive progress. And I get that, but from a screen printing standpoint, how do you judge if you're creating something that will stand the test of time and become an actual job versus a glorified hobby?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is something that each one of us have walked through.
Yeah.
For me with design, it was very easily at times feeling like, man, am I doing anything of value? I'm cranking out all these designs every day and nobody is buying any of them, I'm like, or I'm begging and pleading people to buy my stuff and all this stuff. And I think each of us have kind of walked that same journey. Mm-hmm. I think in the concept of is it worth it? For us, it's definitely, it worked out in the end. It's a bit of a journey though, man. It's a hard process at times. I think, sometimes it takes longer than you expect.
Absolutely.
But then in the same vein, all of a sudden, you're there. It's this crazy thing that when you finally arrived, you're like, oh man. And the reality is you're able to look back on this whole timeline of the choices and things that you've decided to do and feeling like, oh, that, and that were super valuable.
Yeah.
Back when I was working in that kitchen, I would just do a design for myself on my Instagram every single day, and post it that day. And at times it was dude,
why?
Is this just dude, I remember there was literally and my goal was to post every day. And so there'd be 11 o'clock at night. I'm still working in the kitchen at 11, on a Saturday night, and I'm sketching in my sketchbook and trying to get home and put it into a computer and design it and get it posted. And it's was that worth it? I feel like I'm really putting in a lot of work, but dude, in the long run, so many open doors happened from pressing through, and really going after it.
Yeah, dude. Even thinking about what's our number one thing when we get design clients nowadays? Just check out our designer's Instagram.
Yeah.
You did dude, that was crazy. You're I'm going to do 365 days worth of designs. I'm going to do a post a design every single day.
Yeah.
Like those are the designs that we show our current clients of like, hey, you want to know what he can do? Just scroll.
Yeah.
Just look at this stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean, for sure, dude, there were times where it felt like this is just a glorified hobby. Like, is it really?
Is this going to pay off?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, for me, it definitely did.
I think the big thing with that though is I haven't met a single successful business person that didn't take some sort of a risk.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. Business requires risk, some level of it.
Yep.
And that's not an easy thing to recommend to somebody.
No.
You know, that's a hard, like, you know, I almost want to like preface this with this is not financial advice because that's just a hard thing to recommend to somebody of like, no, go struggle for a while.
Yeah.
And hope,
Yeah.
you know, because I think there's success and failure are so close together. They're really only separated by like one choice, the choice to not quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, it's such a fine line of like, man, the only reason you failed is because you just didn't go a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's not really a failure. You just stopped early.
Yeah.
And so like, that's, I don't know. That's a tough one because like, it's easy to look at other people and think like they've got it together. Like they made it happen. You know, we talked about it earlier. Like we freaking mess up all the time. Yeah. You know, we blew it. You know, I blew it earlier on the podcast, recording thing for the audio. You know, and it's just that's a big frustration. You know, I actually saw a post last night that was talking about Andy Samberg and Bill Hader, and they were both when they met in the elevator on the way to their SNL auditions, and Andy Samberg showed up with a backpack full of props, and Bill Hader was like, he's got props? Was I supposed to bring props? Oh no, he's gonna be funnier than me. Look, he's got all these props. I don't have any props. Why didn't I bring props? I'm an idiot. And then Andy Samberg, they revealed this to each other later, and Andy Samberg is just sitting there thinking, why did I bring all these props? He doesn't have any props. He doesn't need props. He's better than me. Why did I bring props? What was I thinking? You know, and they talked about that later and laughed about how it's like everybody thinks everybody else has got the answer. Everybody thinks that, but the reality is, and I think it was like the whole thing at the end was just like, this sums up being an adult, like where you think everybody's got the answer, everybody's got it going on, and you're the one that's lost, and you know you don't have a clue. And the reality is none of us know what the crap we're doing. We're all just trying to figure it out, you know. And so I think you gotta ask yourself, you know, how much are you willing to risk, and how far are you willing to go to pursue something that you're passionate about, that you're desperate to do. I think that's I kind of got to that point really with video stuff of like I'm so desperate to do this because I'm so passionate about it and I love it so much that anything else will really make me miserable.
Yeah. Well, even jumping on that, and this just hit me, is that like, here's the thing, is like, I look back and I'm like, holy smoke, like back in high school, and like as soon as I graduated high school, I joined a touring band, and that's my route of what I did, and don't regret a single thing about it. But looking back all the way back then to where now it's like, wow, like I wish I could go back to my high school teachers and be like, hey, I've ran numerous successful businesses. I'm an actual business owner. Like I'll email you my profit loss reports. Like I did it, and I didn't do well in school, and I didn't do this, but like I would, like, it's because I was made to be an entrepreneur. But you guys were made to be employees to a guy who had that I have vision, and I have vision for your guys' talents, you know, but you guys know what it's like to try to be your own boss. Yeah. And not that you guys couldn't do a good job, because no joke, you guys could, and I've told you this now, today, through all the stuff we've went through, like you guys could easily, here, I'll get real dramatic. I could die. Okay.
Holy crap.
And you guys, what are you going to do? You know,
you got to take care of your family.
Yeah. You best.
You better learn how to screen print.
Yeah. No. But like,
better watch some hard tutorials.
Yeah. No, like, just legitimately thinking about that, you guys would have to figure out a different route. I absolutely believe 100% that you guys could take everything now and you guys could be your own business people and know like your value of your design work, your photography, your video work, like what you do, and you could absolutely make it happen. This works better as us just being a team and me being the boss and you guys being the employees, you know, like, but for me is that like, I just look back as I was born to be an entrepreneur. Like I don't fit in any other box. So if I try to work a 9 to 5, it won't work for me. It just won't. I'll be extremely unhappy. And the thing that I have numerous conversations with about my wife is some days, you know, realistically, it would be nice to like kind of work a 9 to 5 to where I clock in, I clock out. I don't have to think about anything. My brain doesn't think like that though. Right. To where my wife has said numerous times, and she has full right to say this, I wish you worked a 9 to 5. So you clock out. But there's also just the cool factor of, you know, the kids are sick, they're not feeling well, or she's not feeling well. It's like, hey guys, I'm not coming into work today, or I'm going to come in later and print shirts to like keep up with everything. I can do that because I'm my own boss. I couldn't do that at a 9 to 5. I couldn't, you know, just go to my daughter's doctor's appointments and all that, like in the middle of the workday. I couldn't do that if I worked a 9 to 5, but I get to. And so again, it goes back to like all chips in, you know, it's like if you want to do something and you like, that is going to make you happy.
Yeah.
You just need to go all in and go in as long as you absolutely can. And in that journey, you're going to find out whether it's a good idea for you to be the boss of yourself and do this job. Or along that journey, you might find someone who's just maybe a better business owner that you can bring your ideas to, and they're going to be able to promote your work and to really help you do what you love, but not have to deal with all the lovely stuff I deal with on a daily basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think the big thing is like we talked earlier about whenever I first came on, like I took a little bit of a pay cut to start out because at the time you were like, dang dude, like I'm really not in a position to hire you, but like we sold ourselves on the vision. And so you're like, dude, let's freaking pull the trigger and do it. And we'll figure out the money later. Yep. Are you cool with that? Yeah. And I had to make that decision. And like, honestly, with where I was, it was like, yeah, I'll take that pay cut because my peace of mind's more important than the money. Right. And I think that's something that like not enough people take into account. Yeah. Once again, this is not financial advice, but yeah, I you know, that was a personal decision that I had to make, and me and my wife had to come to an agreement on like how long I was going to pursue this at the amount I was getting paid. Right. And if something doesn't shift, then we might have to look at something different. And you know, and that all had to get worked out, and it obviously did. And here we are a couple years later.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, is it worth the risk? Yeah, like you know, if, you know, trying to pursue this thing is like ruining your relationships with people that you love and like your close ones, like maybe let's reassess this. Maybe this isn't the best choice. Yeah. But if you also are like counting the cost and looking at yourself, that maybe I'm losing in the monetary realm of like, maybe I'm not making as much money, but who I am as a person is feeling so much better, is feeling as like I'm not hating my life every single day. Yeah. I mean, dude, I never thought that there's a couple things. One, I never thought that I would like a job like ever. Right. I was like, I mean, I like skateboarding. I like, you know, helping people and serving people and those kind of things, but like a job, I didn't think I would ever like. And I also really didn't think I would ever have a career. That was like, when I like hear people talk about their career, I just feel like, lame. Like, dude,
lame because you have one and I don't.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, wow, they sold out or something, you know,
given up.
Yeah. Like, but now it's like I have a career and it's something I like. And like I thought it was just normal to just show up to work and not like work and not like what you do and only work for the purpose of so I can do whatever I want to do after work.
Right.
You know, but because, you know, like meeting Jonathan, because like, you know, these things, like it's changed everything for me, and that I like my job. I like my career. And
once again, those all came from having good relationships.
It came from having good relationships.
Putting people first.
Yeah. And like it came with taking a risk, you know?
Sure.
Like
Absolutely.
there was a point in time where I decided, hey, all of my design work is going directly towards Jonathan.
Yeah.
You know, like it's going to the studio. It's not like I don't do freelance on the side, because like when I first started, like Jonathan was like, yeah, man, if you got work on the side, do that. But it got to a place where I valued my time with my family more than, oh, I'm going to just work on the side or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, more money going into the business. The reality means more money coming my way.
Yeah.
And it just may look a little differently. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's worth the risk, I think, for most things.
And you have to assess that, right?
Yeah.
You have to assess what's you know, and that's a tough question. So it's,
You got to use wisdom with everything.
but you gotta weigh that risk reward, you know, see which one's going to be,
And,
you know.
and like I was saying, sometimes reward is different than just monetary gain.
Yep.
I think this is not financial advice. I think that more times than not, if money is the thing that's making the decision, then you're very limited on any choices that you can make.
Yeah.
Like if money is the deciding factor, then you're going to feel trapped in your decision,
Right.
because it's the only parameter that you can operate in. Whereas and I know that's speaking from a very privileged place of like, but I've also made those decisions, and my family has struggled, and we've gone through those tough times to get to the place where it's like, okay, I'm not aggressively struggling financially anymore. Like we are in a better place today than we ever have been.
Yep.
But it was because I'm no longer working a dead end job that I hate. You know, it's something that I'm passionate about and have vision for. And
Yeah.
Yeah, because with those kind of jobs, like for me, it's like I'm never going to go above and beyond.
Never.
I'm never going to press in to one day become the manager of the kitchen. Like there are times that they're like, wow, you're such a consistent worker. You'd be a great manager. I'm like, no way.
and Corey missed the next 3 days.
Yeah, man. Like I was just like, no way, dude. But like with a job that I love, you know, a job that I'm about, dude. Hey, like for shooting these photos for the Chamber of Commerce in Franklin, there were times where I came in and worked on the weekends.
Yeah.
Get real if I was ever going to work on the weekends of some other kind of thing, like something that I don't like.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm coming in on my day off. Like, get real.
Yeah, absolutely. And just touching on that too, is that like, you guys obviously know, like the last 5+ years, like I've put in the extra hours.
Yeah.
Funny story for all you listeners. I actually one day actually got a kidney stone while I was printing t-shirts. And I laid up on the couch in the loft area for a little while, and pain wasn't changing. And it's like, guess what? I eventually could not like hack it. I could not push through, like
Sissy.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. And so what I do, I went home, finally like pain resolved, and it's like, okay, what do I have to do to make up that time? I got to I got to come in on the weekends. I got to tell my wife I'm working an extra, we do all this stuff. Jared freaking spent the night at the studio one night editing a dang video just to get it done.
Yeah.
Not was that a video for our channel? Yeah, I think so.
Was it?
I don't remember.
I don't remember which
Anyways,
one it was.
he's clocked into the extra hours at night, staying after, like my phone going off every 5 seconds because our Ring security system, Jared like picks his nose or takes a drink. I see it and I'm like,
Motion's detected in the studio.
He's still there.
Dancing with my pants off.
He's still there. And like, it just goes to show that like we really do. We believe in this so much that we're going to sacrifice in now so that the payoff will come later to where, again, it's all about, the time that we're going to be able to, the flexibility that we're going to be able to have. But again, we're putting in the dang work to make all that happen.
And I think we're harping pretty heavy on this question, but I think it's such a good one. I think who you attach yourself to is very important.
Yeah.
Not only do I believe in what we're doing, I believe in who I'm doing it with.
Yeah.
I trust you guys. I trust Jonathan as a boss. I trust Corey as a brother, as a coworker. Somebody's got my back. Like whenever, because me and Corey do a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
And I spend more time with you guys than I do at home.
Yeah.
Is the reality of it, right?
Yep.
And so if I can't trust you guys, and I don't know that you have my best interest as an employer, that you're gonna do whatever it can to take care of my family. Like, dude, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like I'm out. Like so I think who you attach yourself to is. That's got to weigh into that decision of that risk versus reward, of what's going to be the deciding factor for you. So,
Andy, stinking good question, man.
Yeah, man. Got us talking for a while.
Andy, man. Keep going, man.
Hey guys, I think we can wrap this bad boy up.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten through a lot of what we wanted to get across. And hey, I'll just say this, on the podcast. It went really good that time too.
Hey, yeah, not bad for two to be true.
Two to be true.
I'll never live it down.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Listen, it did go well. The first one was also really, really. And that's kind of the goal. Is these are just supposed to be, pretty raw conversations. They were almost identical simply because it's what we think and believe. So it's like, hey, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. So stay on the lookout. We got new ones hopefully coming,
soon.
Soon, next month sometime.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're going to be posting this on all of your listening places too. So this will be on YouTube, but we'll also put it on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to drop some stuff in the description for you here on YouTube.
Yep.
And we're also probably going to put a section on our website that's, first of all, it's going to have the whole section about the Golden Boys initiative with whatever product or merch or whatever that thing is that we're going to be selling, so that those proceeds can go to help out another shop. So get involved, man.
Heck yeah.
Be a part of that. That's going to be, we're going to change somebody's life. That's freaking sick. You want to be a part of it or not,
Heck yeah.
So be looking out for those things.
Yeah. Also follow us on every platform possible. We have to do that more, guys. We got to really subscribe, thumbs up, you name it, just interact.
I'm actually a little disappointed to be honest, because I specifically told people to thumbs down our last video because the thumbs down's going away and we only got 2. So I'm a little upset that you guys didn't do that.
I know
the thumbs down's going away. Use it.
Just hit
You
that.
got to do it.
Yeah.
I'm desperate for it. Can you okay?
So good. But thank you guys so much for listening. This has been cool, guys.
Yeah.
This is really sweet.
Well, we'll see you in the next one.
And we'll see you there. We'll see you in the air. And we'll arf on you later, little doggies.
Later, doggies. Later.